Hello and welcome to Programming in C++. In this video we're going to be going over exercises from Chapter 5, which is Control Structures Part 2, Repetition. So before we dive into that, go ahead and smash the like button, make sure you leave a comment at the end, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you are not able to subscribe to if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so now. If you're unable to hit the like button, it means you're not logged in, so make sure you go ahead and log into YouTube. And if you do not have a login yet for YouTube, take about a minute. It takes less than 1 minute, and it is free to create your YouTube account. When you do have a login account, you can like, comment, and follow other YouTubers. When you subscribe to the channel, you can be notified whenever a new video is posted from the channel that you're subscribed to. All right, and it costs absolutely nothing. All right. So our first exercise in this video is going to be Programming in C++, Programming Exercise 5-9. Before we get into exercise, make sure that you go back to Exercise 5-8 and copy that code within its entirety and paste it into the terminal of Exercise 5.9 or 5-9. What we'll do is we'll correct it from there instead of retyping the whole thing over. And the same thing I'll remind you when you do 5-9, make sure you do it correctly, because we will use that code to copy and paste at 5-10 and then just correct it for the instructions. All right, save you a lot of time. If you really want to practice, you can copy and paste it, or you can just type it all up, but we're going to copy and paste it to get through the exercise as fast as we can to cover all the exercises. All right, so let's look and see what this exercise is about. So the instructions: write a program that uses for loops to perform the following steps. Prompt the user to input two integers, first number and second number. First number must be less than second number. Output all odd numbers between first number and second number. Output the sum of all even numbers between first number and second number. Output the number and their squares between 1 and 10. Separate the number using any amount of spaces. We used 5 last time. Output the sum of the square of the odd numbers between the first number and the second number. Output all uppercase letters. So we have 6 tasks. Number 1, for loops used. So we're going to use for loops this time. Output all odd numbers between first number and second number. Task 3, output sum of the numbers between first number and second number. Output the numbers and their square between 1 and 10. And task 5, output the sum of the square of the odd numbers between first number and second number. And task 6, output all uppercase letters. All right, so let's go look at our code. And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and copy and paste our exercise 5-8, and we'll get back and get started right after this. All right, so as you can see, I went ahead and copied and pasted exercise 5-8 onto this lesson, and starting with line 1, and even included the comments I put in between part A, part B, and so on. So what I'm going to do is go down line by line and make the changes to make this a lot easier and a lot quicker. All right, so first thing we need, everything, the variables, the include statements, none of that needs to be changed. That's all the same. Only one thing we need to add one more integer, and we'll call it start, and do that on line 15. Next, let's go down. Part A is basically the same. You don't have to change anything there. Remember that flush command, or that flush, is to line the numbers up between the spaces to come down in a row. All right, that's purely cosmetics. So if we go to part B, line 26, we'll notice that if first number %2 equals 0 is equal to 0, instead of counter this time, let's use start, because we used that. Start equals first number plus 1, and in here let's use start equals first number. All right, so line 27 and line 29, we replace counter with start. Alright, so odd integers we get between first num and second number, all that's going to stay the same. Then we go down to line 34 to our while statement. Let's change that, actually, since we have to use a for loop, we're going to take that out and make that a for statement. So let's take this out. All of this, and I'm going to start a for. So counter equals start, semicolon, and then counter is less than or equal to second number, and counter equals counter plus 1. Counter plus 2. Spell that right. Plus 2. Alright, so now let's go down and let's indent that and see out counter and leave a space between our quotes and a semicolon there. And what do we got here? Oh, that's why. There we go. So that's cleared up. And let's go ahead and inline with a for. And there we have it. Alright, so that's good for 34 to 36. Double check that. Let's see. Second, 34, 35, 36, and 37. We ended it. All right. So that looks good. Alright, that looks fine. Let's go down to part C. And let's start with the same thing. Let's change these two counters to start. Okay. Then instead of this while statement, let's go ahead and we're going to turn this into a for statement again. So let's just get rid of that. And let's type in our for, and again, counter, this time equals start. Then let's go counter, less than or equal to, same thing, except this time second number. And counter equals counter plus 2. And then continue here, we go sum even equals sum even plus counter. And semicolon. That, of course. Then we have see out sum of even integers, first num and second num, equals sum of even inline. So part C is complete. So let's look at part D. And it looks like part D, we're going to do count number, square of number. We'll leave that just like it is, in line. And let's take this out. We don't need this counter equals 1, so let's remove that. And since we're doing for loops, get rid of this while loop. So let's just go down, leave that space there, go down to the all the way to the count in. Actually, we'll use that for the for loop still. So we'll do the same thing with the for loop. So once those are highlighted from that while to that bracket, we'll type in for, and we'll go counter equals 1. And counter greater than or equal to 10, and counter plus plus. So we'll increment that, and let's go, since it's a for loop, let's go down to our next line and see out set W again, and let's make a 4, and counter, and set W 18. And let's get it in there. Do counter times counter. Alright. And we gotta do a double inline for that, and inline for the for loop. And that's it for part D. So let's look at part E. If first number equals to, same thing, first thing we're going to do is complete change both of these counters to start. And change our while loop to a for statement. So for while to the bracket, let's type in for, and let's go counter equals start, counter less than or equal to second number, and we'll do counter equals counter plus 2. And let's go down the line, tab over, and let's go, this time we're going to do sum square the odd numbers, sum square odd equals sum square odd plus counter times counter. Right, counter times counter, and there's your semicolon. So now we have sum of the square of odd integers between, that's fine, first number, and that's also fine, second number equals square odd in line, all that can stay. So that's it for part E. So now let's look at part F. Uppercase letters are, that's fine. And then the same thing, we did turn this for all the way to the bracket, or turn this while into a for loop just by doing for. And let's go ch counter equals, and let's put A in its little colons, semicolon behind it, down there, and semicolon behind that, and let's do ch counter less than or equal to, and let's do the Z, capital Z. So it's A through Z, semicolon there, and character counter plus plus. So it increments starting with A and ends at Z. And then let's go one more line. Continue, let's tab over. And let's go see out. Then use our variable ch counter. Character counter And let's leave it open quotes, and let's semicolon that, and then our inline should clear up and bring us to our return 0. Alright, so let's do a quick check, and I'll scroll real quick. So you can check from line 1 to 21 down to the count, enter numbers flush. And if you need more time, go ahead and pause that. I'm going to scroll down to line 22. Line 22 to 41 is now showing. And if you need more time on that, go ahead and pause it. I'm going to scroll down again. Line 42 to line 61. Alright, if you need more time, go ahead and pause that. So I'm going to scroll down, line 62 to the end. So alright, give you a few seconds with that, then we're going to run it and see what we got. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, those are our squares again, our letters, couple letters printed out, and the sum of those, all those numbers between. And this time we're not going to do, should just be able to run it because it didn't ask us for anything else. So alright, let's calculate that. If it goes good, I'll show you the code one more time and we'll move on. Remember to copy and paste this code for 5-10. Let's make sure it works perfectly first before we jump the gun. And this was slightly different, but we added one more variable, the start variable. It shows you there's more than one way to write a program. There's almost unlimited, and there's our green for all the tasks and our 100%. So let's slow roll. If you get to where you need more time on the code, just go ahead and pause it as I'm going to slowly roll down. And remember, since everything is correct, just copy this before you close it out and paste it on the next exercise. When we come back to the exercise, I'm going to already have it pasted, and I'm going to meet you there. And so right after this, programming in C++, programming exercise 5-10. I know just a few seconds ago I said use 5-9, but if you read the description for 5-8 and in this video, make sure you use the 5-8 code. It'll be a lot easier to do what we're going to do in this one. All right, so I did switch over and go back to the 5-8 code so we can do our do while loops, and let's see. Our instructions are going to be basically the same, but we're going to instead of using the for loop, we're going to use a do while loops to perform the same task as we did. All right, so it's a lot easier from the other one, but you can do either way, but I'd suggest 5-8, and you'll see why shortly. All right, let's go. That size should be good. Let's go a little bit bigger on the size so you can see. And all right, so first thing we're going to do is notice that we don't have to change any include statements. The integers or the variables are going to be the same for the 5-8. If you use 5-9, get rid of the start variable. And let's go down to our loop. Everything will be the same here. Counter, if you yet start here, you'd have to use counter. This will stay the same for 5-8. So I'm going off 5-8. If you use 5-9, you have to go visually. All right, so let's go to our while loop, and let's make this a do while loop by just get rid of highlighting that and just typing in do. And then on our bracket, let's skip a space and let's do everything else to stay the same. Count, C out, counter, and then counter equals counter plus 2. That'll be the same, but then just do a while here. And then let's go counter lowercase equals second number. All right, and then let's go ahead and I'll fix that semicolon, and let's use our. All right, so that's the do while loop, and see out there and in line. That's correct. That's all you need for B. Is to change that while loop into a do while loop. All right, next let's go to part C. And for part C, as you notice that if statement, first number is 2, this is all the same. Counter is first number, counter equals first number plus 1. And then just still the same. We'll do a little easier this time. Let's move this down. Use Control X. Let's move this here. Let's move this one step below this time for neatness. And let's put that there. So we have while counter is less than second num. And then here above where the while was, let's just type in do. And we just turn that into a do while loop. Let's move that from the screen. Anything else out of order here? Let's see, while counter subname, and don't forget our semicolon for that. And there we go. So sum of integers, first num and second num equals sum even inline. That all stays the same. So part C is taken care of. So going down to part D. Now that's going to change. Counter. Actually, let's do that. Go counter equals 1. While. Let's see. Now we're going to change that. I'm going to make this a do. That's why. All right. So counter equals 1. Let's put this down like we did before. This time, let's leave it on there to show you that it can be done both ways. Next line, or as long as it's after this bracket, doesn't matter. And we'll replace that with our do. And we'll leave no space there because we can. And let's check say do. And our C out set W4 counter, set W18. And then we got counter times counter and line, and then counter plus plus. Then we got our while counter is greater than, but just don't forget our semicolon because that will make our code not work. Then C out in line. So part D is complete. Let's go down to part E. And part E, the if first number, that's correct. The else counter equals first number, that is fine. And same thing, we're going to turn this while loop into a do while loop by go ahead and highlighting the while, hitting Control X, and putting this while here, putting a semicolon at the end, and then going back up and typing our do here. We'll leave a space under after the else, and everything inside should remain the same. And even our C out statement afterwards. So next we got part F, and part F uppercase letters R. We're doing uppercase letters. CH counter, character counter equals A. And instead of while, let's do the same thing. Let's move this down. Control X for cut, and then Control V for paste. Put a semicolon at the end, and go back up here and put our do right here. All right. So, actually, let's make a space here just for looks. So let's see, we got CH count. CH count A. Actually, there's a space. Let's keep it consistent. upper number, ch counter A, do, and then ch counter blah, blah, plus plus. Our while loop is there with the z ending it, and then we have our semicolon, and we have our c out and line, and then our zero return. So everything looks good from there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this. Actually, let's go ahead and run it first to make sure we're good. Then we'll go through the code, give you a chance to look at it if you need more time. All right, it's 2 and 9. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and calculate it. And while that's calculating, let's go ahead and scroll through. Here's line. Nothing should have been touched between 1 and 24. Actually 25. All the way down to 32. First thing you should have did was 33. Change that while loop into a do while. Putting the while down here and then typing in do and adding a semicolon. Right? So we got green and we got 100. Same thing. Part C, all that need not be changed. So you pull the while counter down here, add a semicolon and add the word do up here. Part E, same thing, then that needs to be changed. Go down to your while loop, pull your while down here, type in do. Make sure you put your semicolon after the while. Part F, same thing. Put your while down here. Put the semicolon after that. And then type in do. And there you have it. And I'll give you one more courtesy of line 1 through 18. If you need any time for that one for whatever reason, maybe you forgot to or use 5-9 instead of 5-8. But anyway, pause it. I'm scrolling down. (19 to 34). Starting with your do in your black bracket. All right. If you need more time, go ahead and pause that. As I'm scrolling down. The whole do while loop. 33 to 49. All right, go ahead and pause that. So I'm scrolling down again. And that's 50 through 66. All right. And if you need more time with that, go ahead and pause it. Scrolling down. (67 through 83). All right. If you need more time, go ahead and pause it as we'll scroll to the end, and it's part F. And there you have it. All right. So just the do while loop or the while loop and the do while loop are a lot more similar than the for loop. So that's why we wanted to use 5-8 because we used the while loop. The for loop was kind of on its own, but it's not that much different as you can see. And if you wanted to type it all up, that's why I gave you extra time if you wanted to check your code with mine. All right. So if you do need more time, go ahead and pause it because we're going to move on to our next lesson or our next exercise. But first, check this out. Now we're on programming in C++. Programming exercise 5-11, and let's look at our instruction for this one. We won't need any other exercise to start with. We'll start from scratch here. So the program, in the programming example, Fibonacci number does not check whether the first number entered by the user is less than or equal to the second number, and whether both the numbers are non-negative. Whether the user entered a valid value for the position of the desired number in the Fibonacci sequence. Rewrite the program so that it checks for these things. Notes: if an invalid number is entered for case 1 above, prompt the user to enter both numbers again. If an invalid number is entered for case 2, prompt the user to enter a value until a valid value is entered. Task 1, correct output for desired position and Fibonacci sequence. Correct handling of invalid input test cases. Alright, so here's nth, and looks like we're going to go ahead and they did give us something to start with, so we'll use that. And we'll make it a little smaller. It might be harder to see, but we want to see the whole as much as possible. Alright, so let's go down, check our includes. We need to add an include statement, and it's going to be the IO manip. So let's do that for line 2. And everything else looks good until we get to where declare variables here. We have integer. Okay, hold on, let's look at this again. Right. I don't like these spaces, so I'm going to clean it up by just clearing up these spaces between these variables, so I won't make this millions of lines long. So the variables looked good, but let's add a boolean, BOL. Let's call it done, and let's initiate it to false. All right. So now we've done that. Our next cout, enter first 2 Fibonacci numbers. That looks good for step 1. Step 2, previous 1 and 2, and then in line. These doggone spaces are freaking me out. So many of these spaces. All right, that's much better, much better, much better. So let's go up here to line 34 to check that one. Okay, why is there so many lines here? Okay, that's right. Got this all this crap. It's all right. So I got rid of those spaces, and we're on. So we got this out of order. If previous one, we need an if statement here. Okay, so we'll do that. After this, let's move this down. 34, let's do an if statement. Nope, I'm gonna go back up. Bear with me. Got it. So this is what we need to do. Let's go over. Oh man, they didn't hyphenate anything. So let's get that right. Let's clear some spaces. Just follow me on this. I'm hyphenating. That's what always confuses me if they start me from the end. Alright, let's get this hyphenated. All those integers. And here, I'm just going to go over 2. Alright, so we're going to type it up. It's probably down there somewhere, but it's easier for me if I do it like this. This while statement. And this is going to go over 2. So I'm going to make a while right here. While not equal to done, or not done. That's what I'm going to call it. And we're going to open bracket. Everything's going to go over 1 more. Now it's starting to look like a real, it's starting to make sense. Alright. So, down here, if for previous 1 is less than 0. So if it's down here, we'll use it. If not, we'll just write it in. Alright, so let's do that. Space. if previous one is less than 0, means it's a negative number, and previous 2 is also less than 0. Alright. Then count the number you entered. The number you entered R. Let's do that. Yeah, let's keep on moving on. Let's go here and do 2. The number entered. R. Let's go on the other side of this, previous 1. And let's leave that there. Proof of my spelling, previous right, IOUS. IOUS, IOUS 2. 2. Alright, so there, it's a variable for real. And let's go to the next line. Pick it up with and let's go previous to the variable and then do our nth. Quotations. In. Go to the next line. Both. Must be positive. So it must be positive. And let's do another. Space there. And then let's go to the last line of this one and go re-enter both numbers. Like that. And inline. Alright. So there we have that if statement. And now let's do an else if. If else if. Let's do double. Previous one. It's greater than previous 2. Alright, let's close that one out and go outside this one. And do our and. Previous 1. Is less than 0. Which means it's negative. And previous 2 is less than 0. Alright, there's our bracket. So, if that is the case, we will say the number you entered are previous 1. Let's tab that over. And let's go. 2, of course. And let's do our in and period space. No, not yet period space. Let's just do in. Like that. And the first number, let's go over again. First number must be less than or equal to. Space, and let's go the second number, lowercase. Alright, continue that on, and now we'll use our in, and we'll go to our last line of this one, and we'll go re-enter both numbers. Let's go from there, and let's go. Alright, so that's it for that else if, and let's do one last else, a simple one for the boolean. Else. Let's go done equals true. So all that goes well, then we'll call it a day. Now we'll go to this line, but this needs to be punctured, or just be over 1, and then it before the else. We'll go these. These indented. Make sure nothing else is over there. We can put the statement over here. Our bracket red. But we'll fix that when we get everything indented off that bracket. So we should do that first. Get everything off of there. And then everything in one space at least. And this bracket can't be there. There's our line. Okay, got it. So down here, everything is indented. Probably needs to be indented some more. So no, this needs to be indented. Yep, everything needs to be indented one. If I knew how to do that, probably could have highlighted it all and indented it. No, I would have probably erased it then. Alright, so it's going to be a mess, but we'll get that figured out. The file statement is on that. Alright, we'll go back to that when we get to it. Stay on our roll. Alright, so here we are. Finish that line, else done is true. Then the first two Fibonacci sequence. The first two numbers of the Fibonacci sequence. Let's make that. We're going to have to do that again. First two numbers. Let's just type that up and keep moving that down. Let's see what we got here. In fact, let's take a quick break and we'll be back right after this. Alright, so since we didn't, well, welcome back. Since we didn't close out our while statement with this bracket, let's do that here. Over one more, sorry. Let's put that here. There we go. Now let's go ahead and that. Now let's. That was right. That was supposed to be over here. So the while is on the same one as the bool. So there we go. Supposed to go one more. There we go. Come on, come on. And there it is. So that's closed out. Now let's move this down. Let's go ahead and start. They're trying to confuse us over all that. If we need it, we'll use it, but I'm sorry about that. We're going go ahead and force this down and start typing away. Get this code knocked out. Let's see out, and let's go with the first two numbers of the Fibonacci sequence. Then let's go with, over R, come there, and then let's do our variables, previous one, and choose and space in between front and back of it for the quotes and previous two. And then let's get line there. Alright. Now that I've done here, equals false. Now let's do another while. Let's do that done. And here, and this time let's do our brackets. Code between our brackets this time. Alright, so let's see out. Enter the position of desired number in. Let's see if it's down here. If not, we'll just type it. Continue typing. Nope. A bunch of mess down here that we don't really need. Enter position of desired number in. Like that. Tab over. And we'll semicolon there. Let's go. And variable now. So out inline. Alright. So we're gonna leave that open and see if this if I've seen this down there. Here we go. So it's if nope. So we'll continue on. If Fibonacci is less than or equal to 0, we're going to must enter a positive integer. There. Go to the next line. Tab it. And pick up. enter position of desired number. Alright. Now we go again. And in the February. How many ways can I spell it? Fibonacci sequence. There's no space for that. Let me add it. And then let's go ahead and line. Got it. Alright. Then we do a quick else to go with this if statement. Else space done equals true. Alright, so, and then we close out the while loop was already there. Now let's see what we got down here. Now we could do step 6A. Not step 5, not here, step 4. Okay. She wants us to do that. We did it better. Alright, so let's go. If statement's got to go here, else let me see something here. Alright, we start bringing these up to just Control X this one, and we're going to eliminate some of these spaces. Control X. Let's go to line 70. Should be right up under the else. Actually, it should be even with the bracket here. There we go. And current, previous equals 1. This is going to go here. Tab number 1. Right there, just like that. Alright. Now, else if else if is what we need next. I'm going to get rid of step 4 and 5 because I did it already the better way. Yep. So else if Fibonacci is equal to 2, 6b. Let's just do this. Let's bring this on up. Up. Okay, that's 6b. And under that current, this should go right here. That's correct. And 6c, else. And then our bracket, extra spaces, just making everything looks crazy. Count 3. 6.2, 6c-2 is our while statement, and that is good to go. Now let's get rid of these spaces. It's driving me crazy. Alright, let's get you right there. And then our current equals previous 2 plus previous 1. Previous 1 equals previous 2. Previous 2 equals current. Counter plus plus. And then we should end the while. There we go. End the while. That's covered. And else. That's covered. Spaces are still driving me crazy. If. So, okay, we do have to output that. And then we return 0. Return 0 needs to be indented. Right there. And then that's our end main. Alright, so let's go ahead and return. They ask us. out. Sequence. Let's do the Fibonacci number at position. That'll work. Position space, and then let's go to. Actually, no, we're gonna go inside. Let's tab it. Then go nth. Fibonacci. Is current, and then let's just end this nonsense or madness. All right, so that's what we got. Ooh. All right, so let's give you a look at this. All right, we had our manip. I do believe our variables are just good to go. Let's see. Added. It's been so long. Oh, we added the boolean of done equals false. Then we did our while done. Enter the first Fibonacci number. First two Fibonacci numbers. Enter the first two Fibonacci numbers. Step 1. And then previous 1, previous 2. Inline. Then we have previous 1 and 2, the number you entered R. And we're going to leave the number you enter R. And both numbers must be, two numbers there. Numbers must be positive. And then we got our dot in. We enter both numbers. Else if previous 1, previous 2, and previous 1 less than 0 equals, and previous 2 is less than 0. Let's go ahead and kick this out. That. Alright. And count the number you entered R. Previous 1 and previous 2 in. First number must be less than or equal to the second number. And we enter both numbers and line else done equals true. Alright, else done equals true. We close that out, that while statement. And we started another C out. The first two numbers of the Fibonacci sequence are previous 1 and previous 2, and line done equals false. While done, enter the position of the desired number in the Fibonacci sequence. And if Fibonacci and if Fibonacci 0, count, you must enter a positive integer, re-enter the position of the desired number in the Fibonacci sequence and line, else done equals true. Close out that while statement. If x equal to 1, current equals previous 1, else if n is equal to 2, current equals previous 2, else, that's step 6, counter equals 3. Yep, it's right there. And it needs to go over one tab. This can go over even though it's a statement. Anyway, counter equals 3, and then our while starts counter in Fibonacci. Current equals previous 2, 1 is 2, current plus plus, and the while, and else, and then this is where we did our Fibonacci number at position. Nth Fibonacci is current and line. Alright, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and try to run this baby. I don't know if we're putting in numbers. Input is, these are the first two 5-digit numbers. Okay, so whether the first number, so just put two numbers in, I guess. Two numbers of 5-digit square are 22 and 44. Enter the position of the desired number in the 5-digit sequence. Okay, so there we go. We got some output. Let's see what we got as far as the calculation. Let's see if we can end this nightmare. Yeah, they should have just started up from blank. Blank would have been a lot easier, but let's look at the code. I'll give you through it one more time if it's correct. If not, we'll take a break. Alright, great news. Both tasks are done. It's flawless. So, there's some comments here. I'll take you down to IOMANIP. If it wasn't added, I don't remember. I know we added the bowl. So from 27 to 47, take a few seconds to look at that code. If you need more time, go ahead and pause it as we will be scrolling down for the rest. Alright, now we're going down to line 48, where the bracket, closeout bracket is. Blank, and then line 50 to line 69. Look at that code. And if you need more time, once again, go ahead and pause it. And we're going to scroll down to the next. Here, line 70 to line 89. And you can look at that. And if you need more time, remember you don't have to put the comments in. Those are the double slashes with the written in green. They're just for notes for us to see, but they won't be computed or ran as program language. Alright, go ahead and pause that as we're going to scroll down. And we're right at the bottom of the code, so we don't have far to go. So there it is. 95 in the main. Alright, so that's all for 11-11. So we'll come back for another exercise right after this. And we got programming in C++, programming exercise 5-12. And on this one, we got the population of town A is less than the population of town B. However, the population of town A is growing faster than the population of town B. Write a program that prompts the user to enter population of town A, population of town B, the growth rate of town A, the growth rate of town B. The program outputs after how many years will the population of town A be greater than or equal to the population of town B. The population of both of the towns at that time. A sample input is population of town A equals 5,000. Growth rate of town A equals 4%. Population of town B is 8,000. Growth of town B is 2%. Correct output of test cases. Alright, so it looks like we got some normal code to write here. So let's look at what we got, and let's go ahead and let's start with our include statement. We're going to need a IOMANIP for this one. So let's go ahead and do that. And nothing else up top, so let's go ahead and get our cosmetics right and give us some room to operate. Right, so integers or variables. Let's go town A, pop. Let's go across town B, pop. Alright. And so we've got a double. Let's get a couple doubles with growth rate town A. And growth rate town B. Town A, town A pop, town B pop. Right, and let's do one more integer and initialize to 0. A number of years equals 0. Oops. That would have been critical. Alright, so now let's go down and see out enter the current population of town A. Town pop A. Town A pop. Then we got in line. And yes, we're going to copy and paste that. Over. Now we're going to enter the current population of town B. And we're going to town B pop. Copy or paste this new one. Let's enter the growth rate of town A. Okay, and it's going to be growth rate town A. And let's copy this one. This will be much easier to do. 25. Let's go growth rate of town B. Growth rate town B is a variable. And that's it for those. So now what we're going to do, let's go ahead and do a quick while statement. Drop down and do the brackets. Oh, you're right. I like what they did. They gave me a hint. Okay, so town A pop less than town B pop. So now condition goes right here. Got it. So town A pop equals, let's do that static cas, and let's make it integer. Town A pop times, let's go 1 minus, we're doing 1 plus, so we're doing percentage growth rate of town A, and then we're going to bring it back down to rate like 0, hundreds, like 0, since it's a double, and those both parentheses are good, and semicolon. Let's do that. Well, let's go ahead and copy this. It'll be very similar. Only thing you need to do is change that to town B, and town B will do the same thing. And then we need to go to the next line. Let's do number of years. Let's do plus plus. semicolon. And that'll complete our while statement. Let's jump on cout after, let's go space after that, and we're going to use our variable number of years, and whatever that is going to be year or years in population of town A. Space. And let's go back here and pick up there will be greater than and or equal to the population of town B. Okay. And this period there, because that cycle is over. And let's try this. Let's go. Run. So cout again. This is going to be the same. Except, population, let's go. Population, town A. Is, and we'll continue again, tab that over, and we'll use our variable, town A pop. And this is going to be the same, except we have to make town A, town B. Town B, and town B the variable. And line, and we have our code. Alright, so let's run a quick check of this again. So on line 2, we added our include statement, iomanip. Then we created our integers, which were town A pop and town B pop. Our doubles, growth rate town A, growth rate town B. Another integer, number of zeros initialized to 0. Then our statements, enter the current population of town A, enter the current population of town B, enter the growth rate of term A, enter the growth rate of term B. And those are good. And town A pop. So I think I messed up here. Should have been town B. Town B pop, growth rate of town B. Town B pop. Okay. Years plus plus. Here's population town A, population town B, there, population town A. Alright, everything looks good, so let's go ahead and run it and see if we input we need to use for this one. 5,004%, 8,002%. Alright. 5,000, enter, for 8,000, for 2. So after 25, population of town A is 13,308. So to pass it in 25 years. All right, looks good. Let's calculate that up. And while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and get you through this one more time in case you missed it. Line 1 through 21. So we got our green and we got our 100%. So line 1 through 21. If you're still looking at it, go ahead and pause. So we're going to scroll down if you need more time. Then here's line 21 to 41. If you need more time with that, go ahead and pause it. So we're going to scroll down to the end of the program. And there you have it. All right, one more time, slowly. Pause it as many times as you need. We're going to go down to the whole code. And there you have it. All right, so that was awesome that we got done with that one. We'll go on to our next one. We'll get with it right after this. All right, welcome back. We're going to dive into programming in C++, programming exercise 5-13. And this program exercise 5-13, we're going to write a program that prompts the user to input the value of x. The program outputs the numbers A0, A1, or A0, A1, A2, and so on all the way through AK. The integer k such that AK equals 1. For example, if x equals 75, then k equals 14, and the numbers A0, A1, A2 through A14 respectively are 75, 226, 113, 340, and so on as you see there. Test a program for the following values of x: 75, 111, 678, 732, 873, 2048, and 65, 535. So we're going to do 75, I guess, is going to be our input. So correct output for test cases is what they're going to grade for. So let's go and, all right, I got that looked up on my screen. We'll go off of that. So let's look at our code. Let's dive into it. First thing I see is we need to go ahead and add our include statement. So I like to copy and paste the first part of it, especially if it's going to be IO manip, and it is. And then let's go ahead and do our cosmetics and get some room to work. And let's dive in by going with our variables. And the first one, of course, is going to be long. It's going to be a long. It's going to be called x. Then we got integer. We'll call it count. Then we'll do another long. A_n. Then let's do our cout. And let's go enter a non-negative number. Integer, that is. Alright, so let's do cn, use our x variable, then cout, inline, and then count equals 0. Let's do our other one. An will equal x. Then let's cout A_n. Again, we'll need to use the variable A_n. Then we'll, let's see, do a comma. Let's do that right. Let's do comma and space to fill that out. And then semicolon. right under this to our while and use a underscore n. Make sure it is not equal to 1. And let's get that with our brackets. If a underscore n percentage 2 percentage 2 is not equal to 1, then a underscore n equals a underscore n divided by 2. And then let's semicolon that. So it's 2. That has got me 1. That has to be, let's make this 0. And by 2. Right there, we got it. And then by 2. Alright. So then we have to do else a underscore n equals 3 times a underscore n plus 1. Then we'll get that number. And let's just count that on that. Count plus semicolon. And then let's spit out. I'm just going to be off the nose. Right there. And then this has to be spit out from there. See out the variable an. And again, our comma. Leave space after the comma. And I dashed it this way. Space after the comma. And then semicolon. Alright. Take that. Out. Line there, and then let's leave one more comment. It says integer k such that a underscore k equals 1. How do we put it? Yeah, that's it. And is leave a space. And then let's use our variables count. Use our variable count. And then line. Alright, that should get us what we need. Alright. So let's look it up again. We added our manip. Our variables, first one was a long, it was x, then an integer called count, and then a long a underscore n, and then enter a non-negative integer. Then we use x, the variable x, and then end the line, and then we initialize count to 0. Then a and x was initialized, a underscore n was initialized to x, and then count using the variable count, and then a and n as well, or using the variable a and n, and then comma and the space, so that when the printout is done, there'll be a space after the comma. Then we did our while statement. While a and underscore does not equal 1, and then if a and n percentage 2 equals equal to 0, then a and n equals a and n divided by 2. Else a and n equals 3 times a and n, a underscore n plus 1. So we count that up, and underscore n variable, another comma with a space after, and then inline the integer k. Yep, it looks good. So let's go ahead and run it, and let's see what kind of, yeah, 75 is going to be the input. See what it does with the 75. $35, $226, $113, $340, $170, $85, $256, $128, $64, $32, $16, $8, $4, $2, $1. We did divide by 2. Integer k such as ak equals 1 is 14. That's exactly what we wanted to do. And so let's go ahead and calculate that 1. Then we'll move on. Look at it right. Show you this code again. That's calculating. All right, here we go. 2 through 18. Yep, test 1 is good, and looks like we got 100%. So let's go through it again if you need more time. Here's line 1 through 18. We added our manip. There's our variables. If you need more time with that, go ahead and pause it as we're going to scroll on down. Line 19 to 35. That's the end of the code, basically. And if you need more time with that, go ahead and pause as we're going to move on. All right, we're going to go on to our next one. So if you do need more time, go ahead and pause it. That's what you got. And we're going to the next exercise, which is programming in C++, programming exercise 5-14. So this time we're going to be enhancing our program. So enhance the program from programming exercise 13 by outputting the largest number of sequence, the position of the largest number. For example, for the input sequence, those numbers, the program output should contain the following. The largest number of the sequence is 340. The position of the largest number is 4. Test your program for the following values of x. So it should be 75. So we'll do 75 again, and we should get this run out this time. And correct output for test. So all we're doing, we don't have to copy and paste it this time. It's already provided for us. So everything is going to start from here. So for what they want, we need more variables. So let's go another long here. Let's call it largest. And then we also need to have the position. So we'll make that an integer though. And position. So let's scroll down, enter a non-negative integer. So I just added on line 12 and 13 the variable largest and the integer position. Everything else stayed the same. 15 through 17, we don't need to change that, nor line 19. 19 is good. So here on line 21, we'll have to do some difference on that, but we'll push it down. So I think everything else is going to be the same. So let's hit enter a few times. Go back up to line 21, and let's do largest equals x. And then position, we have to equal 1. And then let's move our a and x right under that. Oh no. Alright, so here we go. A and x. And then a underscore n. That can stay the same. The while statement looks good so far. If a and n percentage 2 equals a and n. Else, let's see. Plus 3, a and n plus 1, count plus plus. That looks good. And do the if statement after this. Count plus plus. Let's make a space there. So we'll use if here for our largest. Let's make a space. If the largest is less than a underscore n. Let's put that down. So we're going to do a wrap under an if again. Just want to make some space. Do our brackets. What I do? Shift brackets. Enter. So there we go. Got the if. Now let's do another one of these. No, let's do the largest equals less than a underscore n. So I'm looking for that, and then position equals count plus 1 semicolon. That's all we need for that if statement. And then let's look at everything else. Looks good here. Is that I need to change, but down here we need to add some more beef to it. So our line and count is, let's do a couple more couts. Count the largest number of the sequences space. And we'll use our variable largest. And then line. And we go down again and do count. Then we'll go with the large, or the position of the largest. Number is. Then we'll use our variable position. And then we'll end line. Semicolon. Alright, looks like we've got this one licked. I'm going to keep the same size. What I do here. Use a underscore n. Largest equals. I got equal. So make sure on 37 you change that largest equals a underscore n. And let's look at it again. Only thing we changed on here was 12 and 13. We added our two variables, long largest, and an integer position. That stayed the change, that stayed the same. Then we added largest equals x and position equals 1. Everything else stayed the same. Even our while statement. Until we got down to the count plus plus, we provided a space here for cosmetics. Then we had our if largest is less than a underscore n, largest equals a underscore n, and position equals count plus 1. And then we had left this the same for the space, the comma, and then we added the largest number of the sequence is, and the position of the largest number is, using the largest and position variables respectively. So let's go ahead and run it and use our 75 again and see if we get the same result. Or we get the desired results this time. Should get the same. And there it is. 75, 226. Got 113. Wait a minute. So 152. No, that's not right. The largest of the sequence is 340. Okay, 340 and 4, we got that. Okay, that's different. Okay, we got this, 75. 256. No, I didn't get that either. 226, 113, 340, 170, 85, 256. Okay, there it is. All right, and I don't see anything else on there in the output, so let's calculate it and see if we got it right. If we did, we've looked that one right off. All right, take you through the code slowly one more time, and you can go from the top, scrolling down. If you need to pause it, pause it. I'm waiting for that to turn green, and it did. So we got our 100%, and that's what it looks like. Pause it if you need to, and that's the bottom. And I'll go over and show you a little bit more, just the end of the lines for that. All right, and this is to verify we did get 100%, and that's all for the exercise 5-14. We'll go ahead and do 5-15, but right after this. All right, let's go into programming in C++, programming exercise 5-15. And in the program in example 5-6 implements the number guessing game. However, in the program, the user is giving as many tries as needed to guess the correct number. Rewrite the program so that the user has no more than 5 tries to guess the correct number. Your program should print an appropriate message such as "you win" or "lose." So basically, that's it, the task. So let's go ahead over to the code. It's already there. And notice that our inputs, our include statements are CSTD library, and the C time has been added. So, and a lot of comments. So the first variable is an integer, it's a number, num, and then another integer is the guess, which is you're going to guess an integer. And then the boolean is number of guesses, or is guessed. So let's change that to number of guesses. Now let's change that to done, and int boolean variable to control. Let's do done because we put is good. Let's change that to done, and let's do another integer here and call it number of guesses. So number of guesses. So you want to make that. So string 10 blah blah number equals ran. Percentage 100. So is guessed equals false. There's the boolean should be done equals false. So we change that. So basically, it's not going to be done. And then number of guesses. Let's see, number of guesses. Guesses equals 0. That right there should do it, but let's check the right. So while, nope, that's going to be not right. So let's see. 1 second. So while, let's change this to another bracket here, and let's go with number of guesses. So basically, anywhere you see the replace variable is going to have to be changed, of course. It's in the variable's place. Number of guesses less than 5, and got 2 brackets, so we got that, and it's not done, not equal to done. So even though it's less than 5, you're still not done. And we need another bracket. So there we go. Alright, so now enter an integer greater than or equal to 0 and less than 100. Use the guess variable and line. We need our no guesses right here. Or number of guesses. And we're going to plus that so it counts. And then let's see the if statement. If guess. No, let's go with guess equals number. Yeah, it's number, that's fine. And then you guess the correct number is guessed is true. That's we're not gonna do that. Let's go if guess. Let's go winner. You guessed the correct number. Let's try that. Yeah, that looks better. Winner. So once I save that, you guess the correct number. And line. And remember is guessed. We change that to done, so we're going to change this to done equals true. So you don't know what guesses, you can put anytime you want. So else if guess is less than the number, your guess is lower than the number, else, and line, else your guess is higher than the number. So we'll give them hints on the way, and that's it. And wow, actually, let's do one more before we go, because this is if done, if not done. If not done, or not equal to done, let's see out. You lose. The correct number is, and then we'll use num, the variable, and then end the line. Right, everything looks good there, and we'll leave a space for cosmetics. And this right here can't be on the E, same as if, has to be indent it. And let's see. Else. Thing looks good up there. So let's look at it one more time. What we changed. We changed this boolean to done. Add integer number of guesses. Didn't mess with that. Done equals false. Number of guesses we added. Number of guesses we added, and not done. Then enter an integer greater than or equal to 0 and less than 100. Then use the guess variable. Number of guesses plus. Guess equals num. Never mess with that. Winner. You guessed the correct number, and then your guess is lower than your number. Guess again. Your guess is higher than the number. Guess again. Then if not done or not equal to done, you lose. The correct number is num. So got it. Let's go ahead and run it, and let's, what do we, numbers. So we should be able to get unlimited tries until we quit. Enter an integer greater than or equal to 0, less than 100, 25, enter. Number, you guess, your guess is lower than the number. Guess again. 50. Lower than the number. 75. Guess is lower than the number. Guess again. 90. Guess is lower than the number. 99. Guess is higher than the number. You lose. Correct number is 94. Alright, so did I do that right? Should we? Let's calculate. I must have left something out because I thought that they wanted us. No. So 5 guesses still. Oh no, more than 5 tries. Okay, I did that right. So it was like, thought I didn't read that right. Alright, so I'll give you one more look at the code. Just going to scroll down the whole thing. Just pause it if you need to look at any section longer. while we wait for that calculates, and it should be good to go because it worked. And just pause it where you need it. All right. There's no check marks, so still calculating. That's strange. And if you have any problems with this one, I can kind of see it coming, but we'll let it calculate and leave you on the code at least, so you can still look at it. The variables. Now some of these programs, every once in a while, they won't go through, but we'll let it do its thing. And we'll call that's it. Maybe if we refresh and redo it, but the code is correct. Pretty much bet on that. And yeah, it's still calculating, so we're not going to worry about that. So that's all for 5-15, and that's all for this particular video. Thank you for joining. Once again, please leave a comment, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. And we'll see you on the next one. All right, take care, have a wonderful day, and thanks again.